Yo, what's up guys, but I'm Fire here back from the video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys my full Seattle Seahawks offensive ebook in Madden 22. We're going to be updating a lot of schemes. This was a highly requested video, so we're going to go ahead and bring it for you guys. I do hope you guys enjoy this video. I don't have a written version for this ebook, but every setup's going to be well spoken through to where you should be able to understand it. Now we're going to go ahead and be using the Vikings for today's video. We have a couple of abilities though. Again, Seahawks offense. We're using the Vikings, but don't be confused. This is the Seahawks offensive playbook. Sometimes that confuses people, but we gave ourselves a couple of abilities, and our first player is not going to be a good sight for Packers fans, but Vikings fans will love this. We got Aaron Rodgers just so we can get Gunslinger. At the running back, I gave ourselves running back apprentice or backfield master, and then we also have a slot apprentice, which we won't use too often. We will use this outside apprentice for one setup with Justin Jefferson here, but we're mainly going to focus in on the bunch. Now, I know I said it's a full offensive ebook. Most people who run Seattle will just stay in this bunch. If you want to know how to run bunch tight end, if you want to know how to run trips, tight end offset, or single back deuce close, you can go ahead and check out some of the other videos I've posted, but we're mainly going to focus on bunch, and for good reason, as just this formation will take up a ton of time. Now, going through the plays that we're going to talk about in the middle there, we're going to go over the base. We're going to go over Z spot on the left, clear out SE out on the right, bunch trail in the middle, bench pivot, tight end hook, inside cross, verticals, flood, mesh post, dig return, and that is it. So we got a ton of plays for you guys in today's video. Without further ado, let's get straight into our audibles. I like to rock with flood, base, verticals, and bunch trail. You can use whatever you want. Again, all these plays are good, but we're also going to start out with this mesh post. Now, starting out in the mesh post play, it's going to be a very solid play. This is one of the plays that's starting to get used a little bit more, and for good reason. It is a very good play. The first setup I'm going to run, and we do have a ton of setups for these plays, as I need to move my face cam, but we have a ton of setups for these plays, so I will move relatively quick, maybe show each play twice, 3 times. For some of those deeper cover 3 beaters or one play touchdowns, we will go over those a little bit longer, more in depth, but starting out with our first setup, just block your running back. This is a very good quick snap setup. You have 2 drags, and then you have your deep post over the middle of the field. Really just a solid overall base setup. And sometimes these basic setups are just really, they can be good. Just 2 drags, especially if he's rushing 3, dropping back. One of these drags, you wait for them to run the other side, then you got him open. So overall, that's just a really good setup. I don't run that too often, but I will show it. Next setup going to be the traditional put X on a little out route, RB on a slant. You're going to motion him across just like so. Your first read is going to actually be the out route, and this is a route I love to throw a ton throughout the games, both just the normal out route as well as a smoke screen, which we will run in a lot of setups a little bit later in the video. Once again, motion over this slant route. That gives you 2 high-low reads, both with X and Y. And then you have RB and B, and you also have a late high-low between the slant and the flat. So good setup there. Next setup is going to be just to hitch RB. Keep everything else pretty much the same. This will do a decent job at opening up D.D. Westbrook. Now, additionally with this setup, what you can go ahead and do is you can actually go ahead and motion Westbrook out. Now, the motion snaps are kind of iffy this year. They take a little bit longer, so you need a little bit more time to throw this post route. You should have enough. So that's just an extra thing that you can do if you want, but you don't necessarily need to. The play will still be open without that. But again, the main focus of this play is going to be with Alvin Kamara. Against cover 3, he's going to be open pretty much every single time. You see it's cover 3, you can lowball that. His route also gets open against man coverage, cover 4, pretty much almost every coverage in the game. So he is definitely one of the best routes, one of the best red zone plays we have. Some other things you can do is go ahead, put Westbrook on either a curl or a hitch and then motion him out, so that's something you can do. If you want a little bit of a shorter route, I would go hitch because the curl, when you motion snap it takes a while for him to run that 10 yards down the field after being motioned and then for you to throw it. So that I usually just go with the hitch. That's another good red zone play. But let's move on to our next play. We're just going to go straight into the base. And this base is actually pretty dang solid, man. I like the run in the base. The base has definitely became more of a popular run than the inside zone since Madden 21 and carrying into Madden 22. But yeah, the base really good. Now, if you're a heavy passer, you might want to run this 5 times a game, 5, 6, 7 times a game at the most. If you're more of a balanced player, I would say you can also try to get to double digits with this run because you can definitely pick up some easy gains. And of course, in the situational football, 3rd and 1s, second and ones, you can definitely pick up some easy yards in the red zone. You'll be doing work with this play as well. So definitely something you want to run a lot. I know this is a heavy passing offense. That's what you all run a bunch for, but don't discount the run just because you want to throw the ball. It doesn't make you a bad player if you run this base. Let's put it that way. Some people that like to pass the ball, I'm one of them. I don't like to sit there. I don't have the patience to sit there and run the ball this much, but you know, a couple, 3, 4 times at the most a drive can be solid, and you know, once every 4 plays is a good balance in my opinion. Now, moving on, we got Flood. Flood is still one of the best plays in the game. I know a lot of people kind of stopped running this play for whatever reason, but it is still one of the better setups, one of the best easy base plays in the game. It really is good against cover 4 match. Now, the first setup that we're going to run is just Kamara on a little out route to the left side. We kind of keep everything on the right here the same. You have a basic high-low combo between your tight end Tyler Conklin on the flat route and Adam Thielen, you know, on his corner route, or out route rather. But yeah, just a very good basic concept. One of my favorite routes to actually bull zones down is going to be that out route. I feel like it does a pretty dang good job of going ahead and pulling down those hook curls. You see we hit Justin Jefferson on that play. But yeah, this is a good quick snap play as well. Occasionally you can throw that in route a lot in the middle of the field, especially if you're able to roll out to the right. But yeah, overall just going through some setups that you don't need abilities for. We haven't used the abilities yet. As far as another setup for this play, what you can go ahead and do is I like to hitch B and option Y, something like this. You can also motion Westbrook out on this setup, but this just gives us 2 little routes in the middle of the field. Especially if you're running Flood, they start double mabling to counter that. Hitches, the options will sit in the middle of the field wide open, and the hard flat won't be able to take those away. So again, run it like this, motion them out. And you can also run the same setup, kind of like that. I don't know what happened there, but you can kind of run the same setup with that. What I mean by that is, if I want to run it like this, we certainly can't leave Kamara on his route, go back to the hitch, and usually Westbrook's just going to kind of sit there wide open. So maybe when you use the hitch instead of the streak, it opens up 2 routes instead of 1. But overall with Flood, I don't have too many other setups with that. You could do something like this if you wanted. Of course, you can do other setups. You can kind of take some inspiration from these setups, add your own route here, there, whatever. But that's going to do it for Flood. Let's move into Bunch Trail, which is actually going to be a cover 3 beater play. And here's the setup I like to rock with out of this cover 3 beater. We're going to streak B. You motion him across, put X on a. You're going to leave Jefferson on a deep post, but I want you to take a look at what Adam Thielen's going to do to the outside third. Now, you do need a lot of time for this, so hopefully you can get some good blocks, some good protection, be able to roll out here. But just pass it all the way to the right, and there you see Justin Jefferson in his familiar territory, which is the end zone. I would know, I have him in fantasy. But, yeah, man, very good cover 3 beater. It's actually not the best cover 3 beater in this video, so stay tuned for that. But I like this setup a lot because let's say your cover 3 beater is taken away. What else do you have? You have a corner out and you have Kamara, and especially if they recognize early, their user's going to be all over that, so you can easily dump it down to Alvin Kamara in the flats. Now your corner out generally will be taken away. The outside third's locked onto it, so you can't necessarily expect that to be open, but it works well to open up our cover 3 beater. So you can also fade B. I think off the motion snap, the fades are decent, but you really need him to get down there because if he's not there quick enough, this is what happens where you obviously click on make a play, but if that's a good player, they're clicking on, they're intercepting that football. So I'll run it the right way one more time, and hopefully we can get enough time to complete this. Now, you could also max protect out of this setup. I like to just give myself another option, and a lot of times people see the running back out, they're going to go user it immediately, so that's usually the case. You're going to try and roll out here. We get pretty good blocks. Set our feet, pass lead all the way to the right, and there you see Jefferson. So you need a lot of time if they're sending pressure. Definitely max protect. Try and get out to the edge with a Randall Cunningham, whoever you're using, and you can definitely make this throw. As far as some other bunch trail setups for you guys, what you can do is create some simple things, kind of create a flood concept like this, or a play like flood, not necessarily a flood concept, but definitely can create something like that, which I would recommend this setup more rather in 2nd and 2 type situations where you can actually smart route the deep post. But yeah, one more time, here's this setup. Just basically a high-low read. Now we got Adam Thielen open on his corner route. But One more setup out of the bunch trail, and then we'll hop into the verticals play. And this setup's going to be a 6-man protection, drag B, motion him across. This is a setup that I've been running since like Madden 19. And it's really just one of the better setups. I like it. I like this setup a lot. Again, it was better when motion snapping was a little bit more favorable, but it is still a go-to setup of mine in the passing game for sure. Especially if you're running like it used to be really good in draft champions. Of course, if you still run draft champions, it is good, but draft champs is not as good or fun as it once was. Definitely fell off if you ask me. But yeah, let's go ahead, hop into our verticals play. And we only got 2-3 setups for this play as well. First setup is just going to be to streak Y, and this was a setup that you saw if you watched my Henry video that I loved. This is a setup that I've actually been running mainly as a red zone concept for actually years now. I've been running this red zone concept for a while. It's really, really good. And all you do is just streak your running back. So you call verticals, streak your running back. The reason this is so good is it's going to be good. This is cover 3, so Y and A are both going to be wide open. But a lot of times with the user out of verticals, what they do is they go ahead and they're going to try and just defend Thielen. But with this, if they lock onto Thielen, you can actually quick throw it to your running back. But if they actually go ahead and lurk onto the tight end or your running back, what you can actually do is throw it to Adam Thielen, both in the middle of the field. Of course, in this concept, we are running cover 3. There's 2 hook curls. It's not going to be open in practice mode, but in an actual game, there's a user. He's moving down. That's when you can kind of expect it to be open. So you can throw it kind of in between these hashes in the middle of the field, or you can throw it late. So probably right about here is where you kind of throw it later, which we didn't have the time to throw it. You want to kind of roll out, throw him on the sidelines, allow him to make a possession grab for you. So we'll show it one more time with this setup. And again, verticals, one of your best plays, especially this setup. We got 2 other setups though, and they're going to be kind of some setups that you've seen earlier in the year. Nothing really new with these. Here's your setup. This setup, you don't see it called as much. Delay fade, it got patched. No more delay fade. Not really as good of a play. So this setup can be used. You got Kamara over here, which you can throw. And then obviously if you wait, you can throw the over route, but what you're starting to see, or what you started to see to defend this route was either we threw a vert hook at 0 yards, he defends it, we man him up, does a pretty good job, or we just throw a hard flat on the right. You can't really do much with that. And then what they go ahead and do is they just use your Adam Thielen down the field. But if you can, Thielen gets really open here, and that's even with the hook curl matching on him, which you wouldn't necessarily expect to happen every single time. To piggyback off that, what you can do if you want with Kamara, you can actually throw him to the left side, and what this does is it opens up Thielen a lot more against stock coverages with zone drops. Again, it doesn't really have an effect, but it can definitely open him up against that. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump into another setup for audibles. I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, moving into our next set of audibles, we got another 5 passing plays for you. We're going to start out with the dig return play. Now this is a play that's really, really good. I only have 1 setup for it, but it's definitely a good setup both in the red zone and in normal play. You just go ahead, smoke screen, Justin Jefferson. Now with the best route actually in this is going to be D.D. Westbrook. What he does a really good job of is he's kind of on a deeper zig route, both further inside and further down the field. As I accidentally didn't do the right thing there, but you see he just runs deeper. This creates a very good high-low read between both D.D. Westbrook and Tyler Conklin in this case. So certainly something good there. But your other reads are going to be with RB and X. Against cover 2, it's a clear result. Justin Jefferson gets wide open. Against cover 3, and it depends on the coverage. Usually in the red zone, what you see is people kind of throwing Adam Thielen around this area, kind of between these guys or even late. So that's what I might try to do. Now, because there's 2 hook curls, it's not really open. Trust me, this play works a little bit better in the red zone, and of course, no one leaves 2 hook curls in the middle of the field. If they did, this would not be the play that you run. You would attack the sidelines, but assuming there's a user here, he's going to follow B or RB, gives you a clear option. Again, it's kind of difficult for me to run in practice mode, but definitely a play that I run online, that I run in the red zone, so I do urge you guys to follow suit in that case, but that's the only setup I have for that play. Let's move into Z-Spot, which additionally I only have 1 setup for this play as well. And for this setup, we're going to slant X, put Y on a little out route, and streak B and block our tight end. So we're going to streak B, block our tight end, and this is our setup. Pretty weird on the player. Why do I have all these routes running in the same area? Well, once you actually snap the ball, it looks a lot cleaner. And you can see you just get a lot of guys open. Really, you have 3 guys generally open: running back, your corner route, and your slant route. So I do like this setup a lot. For whatever reason, that command doesn't work. But your slant in the out route concept is actually pretty good. You see how the slant gets very open here. The corner route either pulls out the zones, or if you want to throw it late, usually you'll have a late read between the running back and your slant on the backside as well. If you want to open up the corner out a little bit more, what you can do is motion out this B wide receiver. So you can go ahead and motion him out. Then you can kind of roll out, and now you see a lot open. So it creates a late high-low also between your corner and your running back out route. So very good setup there. Let's move into clear out SE out. First setup I liked out of this is to run it like this: drag X, corner out RB, and of course block your running back. So this was a little bit better when the fade got open against cover 3. If you want to know how to beat every coverage with this play, check out a separate video I did. Definitely, I urge you guys to watch all of these separate videos. I have one on Bunch Trail, and I have one on this play, and also the play out of Washington playbook. But I like Tyler Conklin's route. He's going to be kind of the guy we focus on, and he does absolute work as he runs over people, but he does work on his route. Very good route. Another way you can kind of do is just either like drag RB, something like this. Creates another kind of high-low read, almost a rollout crosser to the opposite side of Bunch. Another setup that I like out of this is to use the running back route. We're going to put Y on a little like Texas route, and we're going to smoke screen X. You can also smart out A on all of these plays. But here's a setup that I like a lot. Just a decent concept. Really creates almost a high-low situation between Y and A. I do like this setup a little bit better in man coverage situations. So what I might do, of course, Thielen's on a choice. If it's man, he's going to run the out. If it's zone, he's going to run the stick. We like to set him on maybe even a little out route just to prevent that from being a threat at all, or that being a decision. So you definitely just run it like this. Very good play against man coverage, as of course you block 5, you might get a little bit more pressured, as Max Crosby did to us right there. But that's going to be another setup for you out of this clear out SE out play. Very, very solid, but yeah, I don't really have too many other setups out of this play. Again, other than these two, maybe you want to leave X on your streak, you can throw a running back on a little out. You can do something like this if you want it as well. But players just get bumped a lot in this play, I guess. But yeah, man, that's going to do it for the clear out SE out. Let's hop into our next play, bench pivot. In this play, we're actually going to have an opportunity to beat cover 3 for a one-play touchdown. What we're going to go ahead and do is put X on a deep post. You need outside apprentice or hot route master for this play, or wide receiver apprentice, so that's where it might hurt you. And that's where that Bunch Trail one might be a little bit better for you if you do not have that ability. But all you need for this play is a deep post and Tyler Conklin's route, cover 3. We're going to do the same thing as Bunch Trail, motion over one of these routes. You can do Westbrook, you can do Thielen, doesn't matter. Now, you don't have the option to max protect out of this one, which again could hurt you if he's sending pressure. But with B, you can leave him on his out, you can drag him, you can do whatever you want. You could hitch, you could flat, doesn't matter at all. So I'm going to slide to the right. I'm going to double team. This one gets a little bit more open against cover 3. I will say that. So you're going to roll out. We get a beautiful pancake. But I do feel like this one gets a little bit more open. For whatever reason, I feel like it's a little bit more successful. And you can see right there getting open for the touchdown. I'll try and snap it a little bit early. I'm not sure why in this cover 3 you saw the safety come down a lot. It doesn't matter. I recorded this video yesterday. He didn't do that, and the file got corrupted, but it did work, so we'll snap it where he's in position here. I didn't get the double team off, so Crosby's going to run off the edge, but roll out, passing to the right. Almost the same thing as Bunch Trail, but I do feel like it just gets a little bit more open. Let me know how you guys feel, if you feel the same way about that, but definitely a good bench pivot setup, and one of the best. You can run this out of smash return out of the gun bunch offset formation, Panthers playbook as well, so definitely a good setup. As far as the other setups, I don't really run this play too often. I like it a lot out of smash return because you have this route that goes back inside, but other setups you can run go like this, just the basic setups that you've all seen before. You all kind of know to expect out of the bench pivot play, but they're still very effective. Simple setups sometimes don't necessarily mean that they're worse, and that is a situation where you see it right here. So you have a little in route. You can't get this corner out open. He's a little bit slower developing when you have a trash tight end or a slower tight end in Ultimate Team. I would expect him to run that a lot more cleaner. But yeah, overall, good setup. You can run things like this: streak B, fade B, out RB. You can also block your running back, but definitely can be a good rollout red zone play potentially. So I don't know why Rodgers didn't throw the ball. Literally saw his ability light up. But you saw he got open there. Let's move into our last play, inside cross. And again, I am moving pretty fast, but one setup for this play as well. We're just going to run it like this: smokescreen X, flat B. And this is a very good red zone play as well, but you can also, just because I say it's a red zone play doesn't mean you can't run it in every situation. The in route, I think, just works a little bit better when it's working to the back of the end zone versus it has people picking up on him a little bit more. So that's just the reasoning behind me calling it a red zone play. And because it's a play that I run maybe one other time a game outside of the red zone. So you have your flat over here that you can easily throw with Westbrook. The red zone, not really a throwable route, but in normal play, you can definitely get open a little bit more. But yeah, just a simple high-low read. You're not expecting to pick up 20 yards on this play. You're expecting to pick up 5. Good 3rd and 1, 4th and 1's play. And this is the same thing with bench pivot, or not bench pivot, dig return, where you see the user's going to pick between the running back and Adam Thielen. On the other one, it was the zig and the dig. This one, it's the running back route and the dig route. So kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. And you'll see that again with the tight end hook play that we actually run. But Thielen definitely can get open. Again, you're not expecting to have 2 hook girls there. At most, there's maybe one other vert hook, but maybe you're probably expecting like man coverage and his user. So not really someone sitting in the middle of the field the way that there is in practice mode right now. But let's go ahead and hop into our next plays. We only have one more play, but this is a decent play. I don't really run this too often, but I'll show it. Tight end hook, you hitch X. Again, against cover 2, the smoke screens are open all day, but the setup is just pretty decent, base, solid. Again, this is one where you're not expecting 2 hook girls. I know I've said that a lot, but it is the case. You're expecting the user to follow with the tight end, and then Thielen gets open late. Or if you wait, you can have it, again, simple high-low between these 2 men right here. So if you throw it early, you can definitely get Tyler Conklin open. Definitely want to throw that early. If there's no zone over there, he will be able to sit there wide open. B, he kind of gets open. What I like to do usually out of this play is actually motion this corner kind of out route with D.D. Westbrook out. So I will just motion him out like a step. It is pretty slow, but it definitely helps, I feel like, as he has 0 route running, so that's why the route's just not breaking the way you want it to. But generally, you get a better break on that. I'm actually going to flip it, see if we can get a little bit better stuff. Which, don't be afraid to run bunch on the short side. Definitely is something that you can actually do heavy. You see, it actually opens up Conklin a little bit more. The out route, I guess, doesn't work as good. It worked pretty well in the beginning of the year. I guess not now, but it also worked good last year. But yeah, man, only one setup for this play as well. But overall, you combine all these setups. You can watch other videos I posted as well. Watch all those money play videos. You can watch the past bunch videos to get even more setups. But that's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel down below. And peace. I'm out of here.